We live, we live, we live.
We live this time.
Yeah, we live this time, fam.
no second taking enough.
Welcome to another episode of Stuck in the Middle.
Yeah, I'm Sir Hans.
AK.
AK, how was your weekend, man? Let's jump right to it.
The weekend, bro. It's too hot, man.
Too hot?
It's too hot. I bet you when the snow comes, we're going to be like, it's too cold. Something with this weather, man.
I mean, it's been cool pretty much because it's been raining, you know what I mean? We had water.
I don't know what planet you on, man, but it's hot.
That's hot, you know. I'm from sub-Saharan Africa, you know what I mean? We deal with it how we can.
True. But hey, man, listen. Today we have a very special guest, right? And I've been looking forward to this day, man. I've been looking forward. The three things I'm looking forward to. One, makeup. Two, meditation, and three, DJs, man. These three people, man. I always look forward to talking to them. But with no further ado, today we have the owner and creator of Pretty Plus Tax online beauty bar. Licensed, experienced beauty professional with a focus in beauty and wellness, health, hair practices, and you already said owner of Pretty Plus Tax. Welcome to the pod, Abril Porter. I don't know if I said that right.
Yes, Abril Porter.
Okay. Hey, look at me, man. I'm coming up with this.
Yeah, you definitely is coming up, man. You definitely is coming up.
How you doing?
I'm doing good. Thank you guys for having me.
All right, the pleasure is ours. Yeah, I mean, hopefully we can lead today with a couple of pointers for the fellas, you know what I mean, how to deal with our ladies or whatnot.
Yeah, definitely.
All this.
Anyways,
let's get educated today.
Let's get educated today. Anyways, who is Abril Porter?
Okay, so I'm a licensed hair professional. I have been doing hair for about 6 years now, professionally for the last 2. I started doing hair just as something to be like a supplementary career for me when I came home from college, and I just kind of fell in love with it. And people would tell me all the time, you know, that I was good at doing hair, and you know that I should actually take it serious because it's a very lucrative business. Like the beauty industry is, you know, billion-dollar industry. And I'm just an all-around like beauty and wellness person. Like if you ask anybody, you know, about me, they'll tell you that I love makeup, I love hair. I'm just into the whole thing. I follow it online, social media. So this is just something that I've been really passionate about. I've just like grown to appreciate it over the years too.
Is it fair to say something with the millennials? Like they just love watching YouTube channels, man, with makeup, all that stuff, man. Like, so what I noticed over the years is that when girls started going natural with the natural hair movement, I want to say back in like 2009, 2010, it was an even bigger push for girls to like look online for tutorials and stuff like that, and YouTube bloggers, because it was another means of like inexpensive like hair styling. So when you think about natural hair, you think about, you know, just doing your own hair, like no additives, like no weave like I have in, you know, just the natural hair that grows out of your scalp. And so girls have found like so many different products and so many different hair care lines, so many different hair care remedies, and, you know, different things to kind of, you know, just be able to simply manage your natural hair. But yes, social media has definitely played like a big role in the natural hair care movement. Man, I mean, like, with all that said, right? Well, you mentioned, you know, while you were in school, I mean, when you came back, people were saying you should, you know, look into get into it. What did you major in school? So, I bounced around a little bit, but I went into school majoring in communications. And so I decided that I was going to minor in sociology. But, you know, bouncing back between like hair and makeup, you know, along the lines of like people have said that I should go into like dermatology. You know, a lot of people have just kind of suggested different things, but social media and communications have definitely been like my focus over the last couple of years.
Okay.
Communication, huh?
Yeah.
Are you using that degree?
Yeah. So I have a blog, and it's called Abril Speaks, and it was just recently launched. And it's a it's a conjunction between just like curating just, you know, regular information or everyday information with like beauty, health, wellness being the primary focus on my online beauty bar. So right now I'm trying to just find like a general focus for the blog, but it's not just one particular like line of information that you'll get from Abril Speak. So if it's anything dealing with like entertainment, if it's anything dealing with like current events,
fashion,
culture,
yeah,
you know, just a lot of different things. But Pretty Plus Tax, the online beauty bar, it specifically caters to African American hair.
Okay. When you speak African American hair, right? Last week, you know, shout out to Will. We had, you know, our brother Will. He came on and he spoke about the African American experience. Pretty much, you know, going from Africa to America, then going back to Africa. You know, just this cultural shift and stuff like that. And you know, when you speak of African American hair, like, does that tie into all the black people, or is it just African American as in here in the States?
Well, it ties into people who would consider themselves African American, but it mostly just focuses on like textured hair. And what I mean by textured hair is hair that's naturally kinky, coily. It doesn't grow straight out of your hair. Hair that has not been chemically altered, meaning hair that doesn't have relaxers in it, and hair that does not have like colors. So, or color treated hair. And a lot of people think that natural hair is just hair, you know, that you don't, like I said, that you just don't put relaxers in. But that's one big misconception about natural hair. Like anything that you do to your hair besides just shampooing it and, you know, conditioning it and just, you know, maybe straightening it every now and then. If you have to put a chemical in it, then, you know, it's not necessarily considered like virgin or like natural hair. Does that kind of like
yeah?
Okay.
So what do you have on right now?
So I have a weave,
Okay.
but underneath the weave, my hair is natural, meaning that I don't have any relaxers. I don't color my hair, and my hair in particular is just a texture that is very resistant to heat, and very resistant to like any kind of like thermal styling. So meaning, if I decided to straighten my natural hair, like the hair that grows from my scalp, if I decided to straighten it with like flat irons and, you know, I went outside, you know, in the condition that the weather is now, it wouldn't look the same way. Like it would poof up, it wouldn't stay straight for a very long time. And a lot of the times, African American women, we do go through those issues. Like, you know, we do our hair a certain way, and, you know, because for whatever reason, you know, we want to either conform to like a European beauty standard, or we just, you know, want to try different things with our hair. We have a very difficult time maintaining that. And a lot of the times, like, because I am a natural or a hair stylist and I do natural hair as well, I have to kind of explain these things to my clients. You know what I mean? Like, there are protective styles that you can wear, like the weave that I have in, just so you don't necessarily end up damaging your hair. A lot of people think that weaves are bad. You know, a lot of people think that, you know, weaves are damaging like our natural hair, but it also depends on the stylist. It depends on the method that they use to like install the weave. A lot of different things go into protective styling.
Right. So let's go back a little bit, right? You started Pretty Plus Tax, right?
Yes.
Pretty Plus Tax. How did you come up with that name?
Let's go.
I like rap battles, yo. I Pretty Plus. I'm like, I feel it with my soul, son.
Okay, so for those of you who do not know, I am Jamaican, so my dad's Jamaican.
Wagwan.
What you know about that? So for a long time, I was just like obsessed with the culture, and you know, I would you know, hang out with my friends, and you know, we would just kind of like be up on the latest culture. And Pretty Plus Tax like culturally, that just means, that you're really pretty, you know what I mean? And so I just thought that it was very fitting to kind of, stick it to like a virgin hairline, you know what I mean? I just thought that it would be something like I could coin and kind of turn it into something different.
So is it like the person is pretty,
no,
and then their hair is like the text?
It depends on your own definition of like what pretty is. Like, I don't necessarily, just look at a person and say, oh, you're pretty based on, your looks. It could be, your personality. I'm not necessarily marketing to like a certain type of woman. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to exclude anyone. It's necessary. It's necessary for me to include like all walks of life. You know what I mean? Like, and when I say specifically African American, it's not, exclusive to African American, not only African American women, you know what I mean? But a lot of the times my clientele, typically tends to be African American women. Right. Like, I do have some Caucasian women who come in and say, oh, I want to weave, you know what I mean? And a lot of people think that white women don't get weaves, but they do. It just depends, you know what I mean? So, like I said, it's not exclusive to African American women, but, I do like to cater to people who, I work with often, because I feel like majority of my clientele is African American.
Right. So I just get started with it, because I know you don't make your own hair. You definitely get that from somewhere. I'm
looking at her. I'm like, man, she must be going to work being the bomb.com as soon as she walk in the door. I'm like, dang, girl. Yeah, man.
Hell, this dude right here, man.
I'll just be honest.
Your plug, I mean, not necessarily, but it would be nice to know where it comes from. I mean, I don't want. I just hope they're not going to some horse and just cutting off the tails and stuff and sending them. I'm just saying.
No. So I am just going to give you guys a little insight. So, I do get my hair from China. Okay. And that's typically like the vendors for like virgin hair. So whenever you get virgin hair, or excuse me, I'm not going to speak for everyone, but whenever I purchase my virgin hair, I'll buy it wholesale, and then I'll just retail it to my clients. So I do get my hair from China. I have like a distributor who I talk to often, and a lot of these distributors, sometimes they're on sites like Alibaba or like AliExpress or maybe Amazon. I don't know, but it's not exclusive to just one person. So they have probably hundreds of different stylists who probably speak to them in the same way that I do and say, hey, I want to buy wholesale from you guys. And that's typically how it works. But you don't want to just, get your hair from anyone. The link that I have was kind of like given to me through like another hairstylist who said, I've worked with these people before. I trust these people. I typically do good business with them. And on my website, I sell my virgin hair. So, like I said, it was just something to generate like another stream of income for me. Like, it wasn't really, I didn't really want to necessarily do it like, right off the bat. It was just like, if my clients come to me and they say, oh, well, I want my hair done, I want to weave, I just figured, I might as well like have it ready for them when they come and get their hair done. So it's just one-stop shop.
Gotcha. Yeah. Do you face any problems with pricing?
Yeah, because it's very competitive now. Pricing is very competitive. Like I said, you have websites like AliExpress, Alibaba, excuse me, and then you have, just everyone's doing it now. It's so super saturated.
I mean, in terms of like, all right, so for example, right, we, our people, like, black people and stuff, they're like discounts. So do you face like do you have the people who come in and all they want is just discounts and all whatnot?
Definitely.
Yeah, talk a little bit about that.
So I think it's very important for you to support black-owned businesses without asking for discounts, because it's almost insulting. You know what I mean? Like I talk about this all the time with my friends. I say, you can't go to the doctor and tell the doctor, oh, well, I don't have the money right now. You know what I mean? Can I get a discount? You can't go to the dentist and say that. You can't go to the grocery store and say, hey, I don't have the money. You know what I mean? Like, can you give me a discount? Like, I do work with my clients. Like, my clients will tell you that I do work with them. I'm not that hard on them with my pricing, but it's almost like, you know, we have to make a living too.
Right.
You know what I mean? We have to be fair, and it's just respecting someone's prices and their business and supporting them. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, that's what you want people to do, is to support you. So, you know, I don't necessarily worry about people not supporting me because of my prices. I just figure, you know, if they wholeheartedly and genuinely want to support me, they'll respect my prices. And that also comes with, you know, like marketing. Like, who are you marketing to? You know, what are your marketing schemes, or, you know, like what are you doing to actually, you know, generate sales? So you can't always blame people for wanting discounts, because, you know, if people can get something for cheaper than what it costs, then, you know,
yeah, they will.
go for
Definitely.
So,
But it's like, if you know you could get it cheaper somewhere else, then just move right along somewhere else. You know what I mean?
I mean, that too. You don't. I mean, I had a recent situation where I had to kind of go and explain something to, like, a client who kind of felt like a comment I made was, you know, they didn't feel appreciated. Like, when you said, if you don't like my prices, you know, you just go somewhere else. You don't necessarily want to do that, especially like when you're offering like when it's like goods and services that you're offering, you do want your customers to feel appreciated. You know what I mean? Like, you don't necessarily want them to feel like you don't value them, because, you know, at the end of the day, if they walk away, you know what I mean, then you kind of don't have the business anymore. You see what I'm saying? So, sorry. It's not about like how many clients you have. Like, if I had the opportunity to have, like, you know, hundreds and hundreds of clients, I would want all of them to feel the same way. I would want them to feel respected. I would want them to feel valued. But, you know, it's all about communication, and it's all about, like, mutual respect.
Abril getting political out here.
Hey, man, with Trump in power, man, everybody got to cut the T's and dot the I's. Yeah. So do you plan on having, like, a shop of your own someday, or do you have one right now?
No, I don't, but I do work in a corporate salon, and I don't necessarily know if I want to independently own my own salon, because there's a lot that goes with running a salon. Not just a salon, but a business in general. You know what I mean? You have to have a team, and there's a lot that goes into it. Like, I've seen it firsthand. I've worked in independently owned salons, and like I said, as a licensed stylist, you have a little bit more leverage to work in different types of salons. But I don't necessarily know if that's the direction that I'm moving in, because, like, when you're in hair school, there are a lot of different avenues that you can take in the beauty industry. You don't necessarily have to be, you know, they call it behind the chair, meaning like doing hair, you know, like your whole life. You don't necessarily have to do that. And that's the phase that I'm in right now. You know what I mean? I love doing hair, but I don't necessarily think that it's going to be something that I'm going to want to do forever. And I know that doesn't necessarily mean, like, or it doesn't translate into, like, owning my own salon, but it's a lot that goes into it. And so maybe one day if I find the right team, but I don't necessarily think that I want to even, you know, handle like the overhead, or, you know, or go in that direction. Yeah. But I don't know, it's possible.
True.
I mean, you got the clientele though, so you never know.
Well,
because the industry is it caters more. Well, blacks are the dominant customers in the business,
right.
And it's Asians that are like providing this, and I feel like we should, you know, get a big slice of the pie and cut them out, you know, and start running things, because we know our hair, we know what the client want, and we should be able to like provide that and cut the middleman.
See, and that's another thing. I don't necessarily know a lot of the logistics and the politics behind, you know, how Asians are primarily running like the black hair market, but when it comes to black people being able to get business loans, when it comes to black people having access to like the products that you can get from a beauty supply store, or like where the middleman actually is, we don't necessarily have access to those things. So if we had access to it, and if we had a means to cut the middleman out, I think that we would do it. A lot of the times I feel like, because I made a post about this on Instagram like a few weeks ago, like a lot of the times what I've noticed is that Black people are so critical when it comes to Black owned businesses, instead of they're not what was the word? So instead of giving like constructive criticism, they're very like critical about what we do. So we don't necessarily help each other. We're always kind of like bashing each other, and we're always saying how we won't support Black owned businesses, and this is, other Black people saying they won't support other Black owned businesses because of this problem and that problem. And so I got a lot of feedback, but I think it also stems from lack of guidance in that area. So, we tend to make a lot of mistakes as businessmen and women that we don't necessarily really know, or, no one's really pointing it out in a good way, and no one is saying, hey, let me help you, or hey, let me show you the right way to do it, or hey, I have someone who can help you. It's more so like, oh, I'm so turned off about that business. And it's not just, they don't only do that to Black owned businesses, but I just see it happen a lot within the Black community. So it's like, oh, they didn't open their store on time. Nobody's, everybody's always on the phone when I go in there, or, customer service is so bad, or, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Instead of,
I mean, you point that out because I say we the biggest consumer in that market, but it's not like the Asians are treating us well.
That's another thing. I was talking about that too, because I had an issue with the place where I go and get my nails done. And a lot of the times, like within the Black communities, if you see a hair salon, you typically see a nail salon and a beauty supply store, like in the same.
Because I'm like, I've never walked into a beauty supply store that's like Black owned.
There are a few, and I think there's one in Fort Washington. I don't want to give the wrong information, but
just
I know
somewhere in Fort
area.
Washington.
Yeah, and I don't know. It's sad because I don't even go there, but I know that there are a few, even though they're few and far in between. There are some, but like you said, like I was just noticing, like you go into a place and sometimes they're kind of rude, or sometimes they don't want to do what you ask them to do, and you feel bad because you're like, oh, I don't want them to mess my nails up, whatever the case is. And sometimes like we do have those experiences where we don't necessarily get the service that we want, or customer service is kind of bad too. Or even if we want to go into the beauty supply store and ask questions, they don't necessarily have the right answers for us, because like you said, they don't really know a lot about Black hair. They just know how to market to us, you know what I mean? And so that's just the issue, you know what I mean? Like we don't have the resources that they do when it comes to being able to open like beauty supply stores, and the ones of us who do aren't really sharing, you know what I mean, how other Black people can do that. You know what I mean? That's
true. How supportive were your parents, with you, going into hair and all whatnot? I think it's, how do you call it? Cosmetology?
Yes,
yeah,
cosmetology.
that. Yeah.
So, my dad passed away a few years ago.
Oh.
But my mom, she's been very supportive of me. Like my mom, she's one of those parents who's just like, as long, as this is something you want to do, then I'm there with you. I support you 100%. No matter if I did, a crisscross turn between here, there, and change my mind. She's always like, make sure that it's something you want to do. You know what I mean? And college is expensive. Tuition is expensive. You know what I mean? So when I went to school and I got a little hiccup my freshman year, I decided that, I was going to come home and I was going to work, and, I was just going to, make things work. I was just going to figure it out. And so the goal was to come home, find a job, or find something where I could make, legitimately make a lot of money and finance my way through college. And that was ultimately the goal. So I started and like I said, because I had been doing hair, I would just kind of do my friend's hair, or I would just do my own hair, or whatever the case is, because that's how I learned, like doing my hair and my friend's hair. So it was more so like just like a side job. And then once I started working in the salon and I felt like I was getting better at it, I decided to go to school. Now, mind you, I'm still back and forth between, cosmetology and, pursuing my bachelor's. So I would go to school, work and, take classes, finish up a semester, come back home and do the same thing. But when I actually in order to do hair in a like a corporate salon or to do hair legally in any state, you have to be licensed. Right. So in order for me to make more money doing, what I love to do, I was like, I might as well take it seriously and just go to school, get certified. So there are two ways that you can get licensed. You can either go to school and do it, or you can work under a master stylist, someone who's had their license for a certain amount of years and they're qualified to teach. And, they can do or you can do an apprenticeship under them.
But you don't get as much because they're going to have to get a cut from your profits.
I don't know how that works, but I think they train you. The only thing is about going to school, they have a certain curriculum and like a certain structure, like the way, that you go through the chapters and go through the book or whatever. I feel like it's more hands-on in a salon. But, you still have to get the formal schooling of it. And most cosmetology schools only teach you the basics anyway. Like, you have to educate yourself outside of cosmetology school. And then after I was done, because I felt like that would just be the easiest way to do it or the quicker way to do it, I waited a few months, studied for my tests, and became certified. So you have to take 2 tests, a hands-on test and a book test.
How long did this last?
You said how long?
How long was it to get
your license?
Yeah.
So it took me about like a year and a half to get my license.
Okay.
Yep. And this was at some point it was a full-time schedule, and then when I first started it was part-time because I was still working like retail. And I was working for like Sephora. I was working for like T-Mobile. I was working for a lot of different places. Just
That shit hustling.
Just trying to hustle a little money together.
So the tattoo, that's your pops?
Yes.
Okay. The boo?
Yes.
R.I.P. Pops.
R.I.P. Yep. Yeah, how much is how much is the tuition for that schooling?
Ooh, okay. So tuition can be anywhere between like $15,000 and like, yes.
15,000
What?
And like 30,000, and this is just for a year and a half worth of curriculum.
So how long? I mean, how long is a normal curriculum last? Let's say college, right, is 4 years. Now university is 4 years. College is 2 years.
Right.
So for cosmetology, how long is it?
This is a year. It took you a
year and a half. Oh no, I was just going because you said, and this is for like a year and a half. So I thought there was more to it.
Yeah, no. I don't know. I think it's 18 months and 24 months, or I forget the time frame that they give you to complete it.
I mean,
that's a lot of dough.
It is a lot.
Because in college they say, oh, the like due to your degree, you're gonna make more money than what your degree cost you. Now, are you gonna be able to make that money within like a 2-year, 3-year period? Like,
it depends on it depends on what you're doing. Sometimes, like I said,
you must have went to the expensive one, yo.
No, that's
like,
I did not go to the most expensive cosmetology school that I could have went to, but you definitely can make a lot of money. It depends on your skill set, for one, and it also depends on your location. A lot of the times, location is key, especially when you're talking about what type of clientele you want and what type of clientele you have access to. So, I mean, just to be honest, people who live in, like the more expensive areas, neighborhoods, they typically don't mind spending, a certain amount of money for a certain service.
Yeah. I mean, you're right, because, like, a typical hair, like, could cost up to, like, $1K, right? 2K.
Well, see, okay. let me break it down. So, in terms of like the hair that I have it's a weave, right? Mm-hmm. I have about 4 bundles, like 4 individual bundles in my hair, and in addition, so wait, trying to explain this to me. Okay, so I have 4 bundles in my hair, right? And each of those bundles is about 3.5 ounces. So it's not a lot. And
we going to math class.
Okay, so it literally it can probably like fit in my hand, like
3-4 pound ounce.
I mean
3 ounces, right? Yeah.
So and I'm talking about like if it's like
so each of those ounces they cost like.
I'm going to explain that to you too.
Okay.
So typically the shortest bundle is the least expensive, and the longest bundle is the most expensive. So we're talking about anywhere from 8 inches to 38 inches, right? Mm-hmm. And every 2 inches that you move up the chart, you can charge $10 more for that particular bundle, right?
Okay.
So let's say we have these 4 bundles, right? Mm-hmm. And each of them is, we have maybe like 16, 18, 20, 22, right? And then let me just add this up.
Let's make sure we get the math right, you know.
Right? So the 16-inch bundle, we're going to say that it starts at $75, right? And that's really cheap for a 16-inch bundle, right? Mm-hmm. So we have 75, right?
Right.
16. The 18 is 85, right? And then the 20 is 95, and the 22 is 105. So that's already $360 just for the hair alone. Now this piece that I have here in the middle where you can't see my natural hair, we're going to say that costs us about $140. Right?
Yeah.
That costs us $140. So that's $500. Yeah. That's just for the hair that you're gonna put in your head, right? Then we're gonna say, which is a little bit tricky because one issue that I've had to talk to with other stylists is that we have people who are on Instagram, people who, on YouTube, people who are doing hair and they're not licensed to do it, so they're not really charging what the market price is for a weave, and they're being cheated, and stylists are losing out on money or clients
because they could just go to them.
They're just going to people who charge less. Mm-hmm. But we're just going to say for the type of install that I have I would charge someone $225 for that. That's without the color. Now, you see how I have color in it? Mm-hmm. It doesn't naturally come like this.
You gotta add that.
So you have to add that too, right?
Or the highlighters or something?
Highlights. So let's see. We already, what did I say we had for the hair?
It was 500
for the hair.
Yeah.
Right? And then we have $225 for the install. The $725.
Who pays for that?
Who pays for that?
So what is the how can I say, how the return like in terms of your client? Do they come
They come every
2 months?
Every 2 months. And then the good thing about this hair is that it's reusable. So you're not only paying $500 for something that you
So you're not only seeing
so you're not only paying $500 for something that you're going to use just one time. Mm-hmm. You're paying $500 for something that could potentially last you like a year or 2 that you can reuse. So I typically, I typically do like a few different styles, you know, like I don't necessarily stick to, you know, the same thing. But if you have a regular client who typically likes their hair one way, they come back for the same style. They don't necessarily have to do a lot of like styling, cutting, and, you know, messing up the actual length and, you know, all that other stuff. It could potentially last them for like a year. You know, sometimes you may have to get like a new bundle every now and then, you know, if you cut it into a different style. But the hair that I use, I can use it for like 4 installs. I don't leave my hair in that long because I like to get my natural hair shampooed often, and because I do my own weaves myself. Yeah. So I don't have to pay anybody else to do it. It just takes me a little longer, but I do my weaves like once a month. You know what I mean? And each stylist has their own system, you know, and they may tell a client, oh, I have a promotion going on where, you know, you can get a free service in between your weaves, meaning you can come in and get your hair shampooed, and you can get it styled, or you can come in, you can get your hair curled, you know, just different things to kind of, you know, keep your clients coming back and to make them feel appreciated. And, you know, they are investing a lot into their hair, and they're investing a lot into the actual install. Okay. So, you know, different perks.
It seems like, because I keep hearing you say you work in a corporate setting, or corporate salon. Mm-hmm. So is it the type where lady comes in, she get a glass of champagne, you know? I mean, y'all better stop providing that if y'all want to be calling yourself corporate, you know.
So with $700 worth of bill, come on, man.
Exactly. Come on now. If I'm going to buy a Bentley, I know I'm walking in the showroom, they gonna lay everything out because I'm about to.
You about to go all in.
I'm about to go all in. Yo. You about to create a hole in my pocket, so right? You better.
No, okay. So I don't mean like corporate salon, as in like in direct translation, but like corporate America.
I'm just mesmerized. You know what I mean? This is so much information that's just like, you know, okay. Fellas, y'all better listen to this podcast.
Not meaning like the clientele that you get. Okay, so corporate salon meaning that it's not independently owned. Okay. And they have their own set of prices. Like it's run by someone else, so they have their own set of prices. They just have employees now.
So not independent on who owns it. Is there like a franchise company?
It's not a franchise, but it kind of works the same way. So it's different locations.
Numerous investors, perhaps.
Say that again.
Like numerous stakeholders.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So we have a salon leader. We have assistant salon leader, which is equivalent to like a manager and assistant manager. Then we have like employees. We sell retail there. So, you know, they have their own set prices. We don't come in and we don't change anything. It's literally just a platform for stylists to come in. It's like people stay there for years, you know what I mean? But for some stylists, it's like a stepping stone for them. You know, it's a way for them.
So is it them paying you? Oh, yes. Okay.
Yes, we don't necessarily make our own prices. We have specialty services where we can make our own prices, but, you know, they provide everything for us, you know, and they have a set way that you do things. They actually train us, you know, we take classes and stuff like that. That's what I mean by like corporate.
So you providing the hair, that's you individually.
That's something complete. That's why I didn't mention the company I work for. Yeah. But yeah, that's something completely separate. I don't want to lump the two together.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Completely separate.
Man. Okay. You spoke about doing your own hair, right? Mm-hmm. But then you also said support black business. So isn't it fair to say it's okay to support a fellow sister?
Yes, it is fair to say that. There have been times where I've let other people do my hair, but because I'm so picky, I'd rather just do it myself. Like, you know, people will help me do my own hair, but as far as like me having like my own personal stylist, I don't have one of those, because how it works in the salon, you know, if you and, you know, your fellow salon sister, you know, if she needs something done to her hair, you need something done to your hair, you know, if y'all trust each other, then you just swap it out, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And it takes a certain level of like salon camaraderie to be able to do that, because you want to trust the other person, you know what I mean, that's doing your hair.
Right.
If you have an arrangement with them, but I don't know, I feel like a lot of the time I'm just going to speak for myself. I don't typically do that. Like the salons that I've worked in the past, we've had systems set up where, you know, we'll do each other's hair. You know what I mean? It's almost like it's a good thing to have other people, you know, want you to like do their hair. Because it's like, you know, you respect their work.
Yeah.
Even enough for the person to do it on yourself. Or
trust.
So I don't know, we work differently when it comes to stuff like that. But I don't mind supporting other black businesses.
So the same way you pick it with your hair is the same way you pick it. I mean, you treat your customers right. Okay.
Yes.
That's fair to say.
Yes.
Like Sirhan said, I feel like if you are charging people that much, y'all better serve, you know, champagne. Y'all gotta have some chicken wings on there too.
Store and get some of that Moet.
You know what I mean?
I'm just telling y'all.
You said what?
I haven't met a black person that doesn't eat chicken.
Really?
Man, if you say black people take, you know, a holiday from chicken, I don't understand that. You know what I mean?
What about the vegans and the vegetarians?
Man, they're faking.
They be back.
Man,
they be back.
faking, man.
They on a
They're
momentary.
gonna talk about we eating vegetarian chicken, man. What?
Right.
Where did I come from? I mean, like, how was it made? You know what I mean, type of thing. But oh well, that's dumb. I ain't bothered about that. I'm eating chicken. I'm eating steak.
Yeah.
Under any weather.
So I want, you know, because right now the hottest female rapper Cardi B out there, murdering the scene.
Hey.
And I'll be looking at her, you know what I mean? She got the little all the way down to her back.
Son, it's past her back.
I'm like, so how much would that cost?
Well, she might actually
just a
have
rough
like
estimation.
She might actually have a unit, meaning something that you can put on and take off, like a wig.
Oh, okay.
So,
y'all call that a unit?
Yeah, we call those. Yeah, stylists. We call those units.
Dang.
So is it like a weave? You just rip it off?
Well, yeah, it's like so. So you know how you can go into the beauty supply store and you can buy one, like just go in and you say, hey, do you guys have wigs? Like even the little funny looking ones that you see in the store that just look crazy, like no one will wear them. They've actually gotten better, but these units are similar to those, except there are stylists who handcraft them, meaning all the material and stuff that I have for my install, I use that and I, put it, like I just sew it like I would do on someone's head.
Gotcha.
But I just make it for someone. So that could, because a celebrity stylist probably made it, or, you know what I mean? Someone who specializes in that particular, area of styling.
She ain't spending a bag on that.
I mean, she could, but, it could potentially run her maybe a couple $100. Sometimes they're like $1,500, or it depends on the stylist. So yeah, we all make our own prices, but
Okay.
They all make their own prices. Interesting.
Well, independent stylists.
There was a little wave that was going on the internet, right? With women, either on poolside, like in the pool, like they dip in the pool, they come back out without the wig or weave or whichever one, or people just pulling hair from ladies and all.
Yeah, why is it so easily to pull it out?
Exactly, you know what I mean? Like, why?
Well, sometimes they may not be secure. Like they may not be secure down on the head.
I mean, why would you not secure it? Because the jerks out there who could just yank it out your head.
Well, sometimes if you need a quick fix, like if you need something quick, like something that's going to take you 5 or 10 minutes to put on, maybe in the morning you're rushing, you're trying to get out of the house, or you don't have the time that you thought that you had to get ready. If you have something that's stationary, something that you don't have to worry about the curls messing up when you go to sleep, you just put it on like a mannequin. Like whenever you wake up, you just just put it on. You might be. I don't know. Sometimes I feel like we don't think that it can actually come off. Like if we position our head a certain way, like if no one gets that close to it, then we're safe. But you do have those instances where someone might try you. Someone might give it a little tug and see if it comes off.
You have a picture on your Instagram. I don't know if it's Instagram or Facebook, and it's a lady. Her like she had I think one of those sew-ins and stuff. And it kind of ripped off her hair. Her forehead or whatever. How often can that happen?
Okay, so what I do want to say is that should never happen. You know what I mean? That was neglect on on every base. That was neglect. And sometimes, like I said, we have people who are not stylists and who are not licensed stylists who suggest different things to women because they may have had like a certain level of success with it in the past, or, you know, I don't know what some people come up with when they're making these suggestions to other people, or when they're actually thinking about doing it on themselves. But that should never happen. That was a very bad mistake. And one big misconception is that weaves are bad. And like I said, it depends on the stylist who's installing them. You know what I mean? You should always, you should trust your stylist, but you should also know your stylist too. You should know what credentials they have. You should know if they're experienced in a certain area. You know what I mean? You should always ask them for pictures, you know, to see if they have like a portfolio. A lot of the times I get clients via like word of mouth. So if I do someone's hair and they see my client, they'll say, "Oh, who did your hair?" It's like you want to always be up on that type of stuff. Mm-hmm. So there's this new wave of hair frontals, meaning there's a unit that you can use that goes from ear to ear. So it literally covers your entire hairline.
When you just glue it on?
You can glue it on. There are people who have become very creative in the way that they install them, where you don't have to use glue. People use a number of different things, but this is where you have to be knowledgeable. And sometimes people do it for the fad, people do it for the trend, but there are actual people who feel as though they need them because they've experienced some type of alopecia, a condition where your hair doesn't grow back or where you've damaged like the hair follicle. And your hair just will not grow. So you can get like tension alopecia, where, you know, you potentially had, and for a lot of black women, that typically happens like around our edges, because we, you know, sometimes we braid our hair like really, really tight for install, or when we're wearing just natural cornrows or whatever, braids, you know, stuff like that. So, I don't know if you guys see like the videos on Instagram where, you know, sometimes the woman will like block her face out, but, you know, the stylist who's doing the weave like is showing like her hair or her hair loss. That can come from a lot of different things. This is where I would say, you know, consult a doctor if you're going through, or like a dermatologist if you're going through those type of issues, because doing things to, you know, kind of just like increase like the tension that you have on your, you know, on your edges or wherever the, you know, the areas that you have hair, it can kind of, you know, it could probably aggravate, you know, the hair follicle. And sometimes, depending on how much like chemical processing you do to it, or how much, you know, tension you put on it, it may never grow back. But that particular instance was, I think what the post said was someone used crazy glue.
Ooh. Yeah,
this
that's
is glue
bad.
that you're supposed to use on, you know,
metals.
Yeah,
stuff
you know,
like that.
just household things.
Yeah.
Like, you're not supposed to put that on your skin.
Man.
You know what I mean? So
That's crazy.
I don't know how true that was, but
Man, you should see this thing, man.
that
It's
post,
deep. It was
I
deep,
felt
man.
some type of way,
Yeah.
because no woman should ever have to go through something like that another person did to them, and maybe falsified information, or, you know, maybe a stylist, you know, altered the products that they were using, or maybe they just weren't upfront with what they were actually using. But you never, you know what I mean? That should never ever happen.
Right.
Never ever.
Quick question.
Mm-hmm.
Makeup, right? Matter of fact, not question. Let's skip into makeup a little
Okay.
bit. What's up with women and so much makeup these days?
Ooh.
I mean, I know you just want one woman out of many, but you know, on Instagram it's just ridiculous. Like, so much stuff.
It's so much
So
stuff.
much stuff. you know?
What's your issue with makeup?
I mean, it's just my issue is.
Hey, what's your issue?
My issue
No,
is
not that
I
you have
see.
an issue, but you know, like what, like
Yeah, I mean, I see Mary during the day, and at night I see Jay.
Catfishing.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, what's up with that? Like, come on now. I mean, just be you. I mean, makeup is good. You know what I mean? But excess makeup.
Do it in a natural way.
Yeah,
you know
man.
what I mean?
But you know what? Let me just say this. Not every woman's experience is like mine. But when I was growing up, I had really bad acne. And that was another segue into like hair and beauty and, makeup and all that other stuff. So it wasn't like I was trying to hide myself. It was more like, just trying to kind of conceal, maybe like my acne scars. And then after a while, you get good at it. You know what I mean? Like my friends will always say, oh, can you do this on me? Or they would ask me, what you got on your face? That's just another way to say like, what makeup are you wearing?
What you got on your face, Hans?
Yeah.
That cocoa butter.
Right, exactly. But what I do want to say to people is skincare is the first step. You know what I mean? It's not about, concealing your blemishes or trying to like, cake your face on with makeup. But with this, like I said, with this new wave of like YouTubers and bloggers, I feel like there's an increased like obsession with wanting to look like a certain type. You know what I mean? Especially with social media, you know what I mean? Like the girls that you see who have the most likes, the girls that you see who have, the most followers, they typically look a certain way. Yeah. You know what I mean? And the girls, this is just in general, the girls who you see that get the most attention, the girls who you see who are popular, they typically look a certain way. You know what I mean? And so I feel like when young girls see that,
that's endangering, yo.
It is, man. I talk a lot about
that's why it starts segueing into other things like start bleaching your skin and everything just to get those lights. Like it's just so terrible.
And that's another thing. So because I've studied media, I've also studied, like how we prefer a certain type of person on TV, and we like to look at a certain type of person. In like our ads and on social media and stuff like that. But when you see these type of people moving in a certain direction, if that's the direction you want to go in, then you typically start to, do the same things that they're doing. But like I said, if you see all these, these people on Instagram, if you see all these people across social media, like on the blogs, if you see all these people on TV who look like you and they act a certain way or they're doing a certain thing, and you kind of want to achieve the same things, that they have, you're going to, you're gradually going to start doing those things too. And I don't think that's the same for everyone. I just think that as a girl, you know what I mean? They make you think that that's what that those things are girly. You know what I mean? Like the hair, the makeup, the nails and everything. It's just a part. They make you think that it's just a part of being a girl. You know what I mean? Some women naturally don't have to do those things. You know what I mean? Some women don't have to wear makeup or they don't feel the need to wear makeup. I don't think that any woman has to wear makeup. But I just think that, certain women, in a certain light, may portray themselves,
divas.
As someone. Say that again?
As divas?
Well, not even just that. Just portray themselves in a way that, they don't.
God body.
They don't have to wear makeup, and they don't need that to look beautiful. And so some women who may feel, if they had, if they look this way and if the makeup can, make them look that way, they would do it. So it's just, I just need to cover this up. I'll be fine if I just, cover this up with some makeup. Or I'll be fine if I just had some eyebrows. Or, I'll be fine if this, that, and the third. I think that it also starts, like I said, it starts with like skincare and it starts with like self-esteem. But I do want to, put some responsibility on the men too, because
because I had to like quit on Instagram. Too much temptation. It's like damn.
No, but
nah, bro. I cannot sit here and look at a picture and your face has a different color from your neck.
Nah,
and then your arms and stuff. You know what I mean? Like, come on now.
Color, so you're not even picking the right color.
But yeah, it's just. put it on man too, because when you go on bad show, it's like this guys is just they just like, oh my god, like.
Those are the things. Some women think that those are the things men like. I don't get the attention from men when I do look natural, or I don't get the attention from men. It's the same thing with weaves. You know what I mean? Some women, like I said, I've come across a lot of women, over the years that I've been a stylist, and just to listen to them, and I've heard some women say that they've never worn makeup. They've never like been natural, like in front of their husbands, or like they wear makeup like all the time, like their husbands haven't seen them like without a weave, or stuff like that. It's just it's that pressure that you feel like you have to look a certain way in order to attract a certain kind of man. You know what I mean? Like the men who you may think will appreciate you for your natural self may not necessarily, appreciate you if you didn't wear the weave, or
right.
You know what I mean? If you didn't wear the makeup, and you don't want to feel like that. And my honest opinion, I wouldn't want a man like that if they couldn't accept me for who I was. But there is a tremendous amount of pressure placed on women to feel like we have to, meet a certain standard just so men will even pay us attention.
I mean, the thing is, have you tried it before going into that conclusion?
Well, this is coming from someone who I've been through that too. You know what I mean? Like I felt like at a certain point, because I didn't have like the perfect skin, or because I didn't look a certain way, that I was not necessarily attractive. Mm-hmm. But as you get older, those things don't really matter to you anymore. You know what I mean? Like,
that's a key word right there, older.
Mm-hmm.
As you get older.
But I felt like during that period, like, because we all go through that phase where we have acne, you know what I mean? As a teenager, like, I had serious acne looking back. Thank God I don't have a picture somewhere with me with acne, you know what I mean? But I think we do all go through that path where at some point in our teenage years, we are going to have serious acne. But once we get past that, the skin start to get fresher, start to get fresher out here.
But let me just school you a little bit, because like my acne was so bad that I had to go see a specialist for it. I had to go see a dermatologist, and it was more so breakouts. It was breakouts. It was dark marks. It was it wasn't just one spot. You know what I mean? So it was like, it was bad. It was on my chest, my back, my arms, my face. You know what I mean? Like, it was bad. And so what I've learned, people, and this is another thing that really, like, it used to frustrate me. It still kind of frustrates me a little bit. But it's easy for someone to say, take care of your skin, drink more water, do this, do that. Acne does not develop, overnight, and it does not come from you solely, like, not drinking water. You know what I mean? Drinking water is very important. You should drink lots of it, but that's not, that's not where acne comes from. Yeah. Acne is a bacterial infection. You have to treat acne on the surface, and you have to treat acne from the inside. So I, particularly had to go to a dermatologist, and, each person is different, so they prescribe you different things. But I was on a series of medication, you know what I mean? Just to be able to combat my acne, because it was, the stage that it was in, it was so bad, you know what I mean? And certain people have certain skin conditions that aren't, they don't necessarily, like I said, they don't develop overnight, and they don't come from, just a person's diet. But what I will say is that your diet is also very important. You know what I mean? Like, true. What you put into your body definitely shows on the outside.
Yeah.
So you trying to tell me you eat right?
I do. I've started to. Listen.
Nah, I feel you.
I just transitioned into vegetarian.
Husband's gonna be happy, man. he gonna be healthy.
Exactly. I just transitioned into vegetarian, and it's so hard. I'm telling you, it's so hard. It's been something that I'm, weaning myself off. Like, I'm trying to wean myself off of me, but it's been very hard. But what I will say is, I feel a lot better. And when I did speak to my doctor, or my dermatologist, she kind of told me that, certain foods will kind of, like, even when you drink stuff that has caffeine in it, you know what I mean? There are certain things.
For me, the usual thing is don't drink soda.
Yeah, soda, or, I used to love going to Starbucks and getting those caramel frappuccinos with the caramel drizzle and all that good stuff on it. But that amount of sugar and the caffeine, you know what I mean? Like, there are certain foods that will trigger breakouts. You know what I mean? There are certain foods that will, you know, even if you're not allergic to it, you know what I mean? There are certain foods that will trigger breakouts and stuff like that, and just your body reacts differently to it. And like I said, everyone is different. I'm not telling anyone to go vegetarian. I'm not telling anyone to, you know.
Are you vegetarian?
Well, I'm transitioning, but, and I say that because it's hard, and I just started like a month ago. So, yeah, if that's something that you would like to do, I would, you know, recommend seeing like a nutritionist. I would also, like, if you do have skin problems, I would recommend seeing a dermatologist. And one of my clients is also a dermatologist. Her name is Dr. Melanie Macklin. She's from this area. She's based in this area. And she has a vitamin supplement. It's called Bella Nutri. She has one for men too. It's called Bo Nutri, but it just promotes healthy hair, skin, and nails. And she has a website. It's www.askdrmac.com. But you go on there and you purchase like a little bottle. I think that has maybe like 30 or like 50.
Is that like what Charlamagne was taking? Everybody was like, everybody think he bleaching or something.
No, that does not. No, that doesn't make your skin turn any different color. It does a lot of different things for you. But wait, what's this thing that Charlamagne was taking?
He said his dermatologist put him on some pill or whatnot, and that's what cleared up his skin. Because if you look from the start of the Breakfast Club and now, like, his skin do look different. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You know, so,
well,
so
no,
he claims it peeled off all the dirt.
Well, see, and that's another thing. Depending on, you know, we don't know what level, you know, his skin was on. Not saying that it was good or bad.
He getting that Michael Jackson treatment. You know?
I don't know about all that, but, you know, we don't know what his dermatologist recommended to him. But, you know, if you are a legit doctor and dermatologist, they can give you prescriptions, you know what I mean, medication that they can only like prescribe you.
Gotcha.
But this Bella Nutri and Bo Nutri, I've taken it like over, you know, a series of years, probably the last like 3 years. And, you know, when I'm on it regularly, I do notice like a, you know, like a change in like my skin. But that's not the only thing, you know what I mean? Like, you can't take a whole bunch of like vitamins and supplements, and you can't, you know, you can't expect those things to work alone. Like, you do have to have like a joint, you know, effort with like how you're eating, like your lifestyle, all that stuff matters.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, like you say, you can't depend on the vitamins. But how long do you plan on taking the vitamins?
And that's another thing. You don't want to have to take them forever.
Yeah.
But you definitely want to find something that works for you. You know what I mean? Like, you definitely want to give it enough time to see if it works. You want to try, you know, even if it's something you want to try out, do a lot of research on it. You know, even the one that I just told you guys about, I want you, like, if there was someone who was interested and, you know, maybe taking it, do the research. You know what I mean? I'm pretty sure you can send her emails. I'm pretty sure, you know what I mean, you can ask her questions, whatever the case is. Do research on these skincare products that you're using. You know what I mean? You want to make sure that the ingredients aren't, you know, going to be sensitive to your skin or irritate your skin. You know what I mean? Because everything doesn't work for everyone. So
what's her name again? What's her name?
Say her name again.
Oh, Dr. Melanie Macklin.
Dr. Melanie Macklin. Shout out to you. You got to come on the pod and explain this, you know, farther. Like, we got to talk about this, man. You know, we definitely got to, you know, get people educated. Yeah.
Topic to talk about, you know.
Yeah. But, I mean, sorry to cut this conversation short, but, you know, we reached that mark. And if you have an advice for people who trying to get into, you know, beauty, you know, makeup, hair, all that stuff.
All that stuff.
Yeah, all that stuff, you know.
All that good stuff.
All that good stuff, yeah. I mean, you know, just let them know. Let them know.
Okay, so I do want to plug you guys in. Please go to the website and subscribe, and we will send out beauty promos, information, and if you have any specific questions, please email info@prettyplus-tax.com.
Yeah, and she got back to school sales, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I have a back to school blowout sale that I'll be posting soon, and yeah, if you guys have any questions, if you want to book appointments, anything like that.
Well, they gotta come with their student ID.
Well, yes, because you know sometimes
a lot of them ain't in school no more. You know, a lot of them they not in school no more.
I know.
So yeah, you know what I mean. Come that $750 is probably gonna be like 4 signs. So that's
not gonna be $250. It's gonna be $250. It's gonna be 70% off.
Yeah, I got you. I'm gonna hook y'all up.
Yeah.
What's your IG handle?
Mine?
Yeah, your IG handle,
so
Twitter, all
I
that
have
stuff.
a few different IGs. So for my hair page, it's Brilliant Designs, and then for the Virgin Hair page, it's Pretty Plus Tax Virgin Hair. My Abril Speaks page is just that, Abril Speaks.
Pretty Plus Tax.
Pretty Plus Tax,
Yes.
man.
Yes.
Since our producer decided to go out of town, you know, I had to take care. I mean, we had to take care of this stuff right here, and also have a little story for them. Since,
okay.
You know, you emphasized on having stories last week.
Nah, it's very important we have stories. There's a lot of things that's going on in the continent. I feel like people needs to know about.
Right. So this one goes out to Sierra Leone, and as you know, as most know, Sierra Leone is facing significant health challenges after last week's devastating mudslide that claimed over 467 lives and left 1,000 people stranded, displaced and all whatnot. Salute to Rihanna for donating $2 million to Sierra Leone, mudslide victims.
Wow.
Which will go for shelter, food, medicine, clothing, all whatnot. That's pretty big, man.
That's big. I felt some type of way that this past week because, here in America, that they didn't cover that as much as I feel like they should have, because that's what is the number? 3 something?
Nah, that's 4
something.
Yeah.
4 people, the 400 and some people just die like that in a span of a day or two, and and here's just, I feel like we should have been focused on how to raise funds, to help the loved ones that are left just stranded. I was listening to the BBC, some guy was talking about he's lost his entire family, his investment property. So like right now he just doesn't know what to do.
Right.
And it's like, I'm putting myself in the shoe, what if that was me? So, I mean, it's a sad situation what's happening in Sierra Leone, because I feel like they don't catch a break. It's always one thing after the other. Same with Haiti,
It was Ebola not too long ago, and now it's this.
That's why I stressed the point on us doing this segment.
Also, our hearts and prayers go out to the victims of the Barcelona attack too. It just seems as though the world is not catching a break no more, man. It's either this or that. Yeah. And it's really sad. It's really sad. I don't know how we came to this to this point in time, but hopefully God kind of just eliminate those bad flocks, man. Because when good people die, it burdens me. And I see all these other bad people just keep doing evil and stuff, hoping that God could just swap them. But then again, I'm not God, so I can't really tell. So, yeah, that's it for stories. You have anything to say? Add, subtract.
Stories. What happened in VA?
Oh man.
Because we have listeners outside of the United States of America. You know what I mean? Hey, we dealing with a situation here in America. It's about race, because it gets talked about race like constantly. So I just want us to come as one, as people. Like, if anything we disagree with, I think it's better that we come and sit on a table and discuss these issues. Being separate is not going to help us move forward in this world. There's things that we love and we can't go a day without it. It's due to other people outside of our race coming about bringing that thing together. So we need to move as a unit. That's all I want.
Yeah, they say together we stand, divided we fall. So a word to a wise is sufficient. My mom normally say.
Mama.
Anyways, it's stuck in the middle.
Yeah,
and
we out.